Hello everybody and welcome back to Cover 1. This is our Week 7 post-game show. I am your host, James Bouligny. We have a ton of games to get through. We got a ton of highlights. On Thursday, I went to Coahoma for Coahoma Grape Creek. There was a district game. By the way, district has started for a lot of teams in the Concho Valley. And I went to Coahoma for the Grape Creek Coahoma game. Then I went to Eldorado, came back, went to Wall. We had Central and we had Ballinger highlights. We're going to get into all of them. Before we do, we got to hear a quick word from Shelburne Financial. At Shelburne Financial, you are more than just a number. They will help you plan for retirement, prepare tax documents, and more. Whether you're looking to grow your savings or plan for your future, the experienced team at Shelburne Financial is here to help you and guide you every step of the way. Give them a call at 944-9447 or head over to 3177 Executive Drive and invest in your future. Okay, everybody, just like I said, I went to Coahoma on Thursday for the Coahoma Grape Creek game. Grape Creek is playing pretty good football. Their running back had a monster game. Coahoma is playing really good football. We can't say Coahoma's a bad football team. They are a very good football team. They beat Albany and Wink. I know both those schools are in a smaller classification, but they are consistently contenders in the state of Texas. And we're just going to get right into the highlights right now. All right, some Grape Creek highlights here. They kick off district against Coahoma. That's Darrell West breaking through the offensive line, through the defense, actually, in for a touchdown. Eagles lead early 7-0. Kind of a late hit there, but whatever. Here you go, first Bulldogs drive. They're going to throw it downfield. That's Austin Jocelyn to Jaden Henderson for the 72-yard catch and run for the score. Coahoma ties it up at 7 with about 10 minutes to go. Next Grape Creek drive, 8:43 left, and there goes Darrell West again, getting through defenders, up the sideline, cuts back across, gets into the end zone here. Second touchdown for Darrell West, 13-7, Grape Creek leads. Go into the second quarter now. Eagles are going to punt here. That's Brayley Woods with the punt, punting it to Austin Molina, catches it, gets upfield. This is kind of the first disaster for Grape Creek. But Molina gets in for the touchdown, takes the punt return back. Coahoma ties the game up at 13-13. Here are just under 6 minutes to go, and the Eagles here get another one. That's Ashton Ortiz with the 22-yard touchdown, getting around the defenders, zigzagging in and out. Grape Creek leads yet again, 20-13. Getting close to halftime here, and this is Lawson Tears. Gets in for the sack. Big sack there by the big man up front. But this is the same drive. Jocelyn's going to look back. He's going to launch downfield for Molina. 54-yard touchdown pass. Coahoma ties it up at 20 with 2:22 left in the half. Second disaster here. Here's Brayley Woods scrambling around trying to find somebody. Underthrows his receiver, and that's Lanson Moore with the pick. And he takes it to the house. Here you go. This is a nearly 6-minute drive being capped off here. But not how you think. They fumble it. Connor Lineberger recovers the ball. Wouldn't be able to do much there, though. Next Coahoma drive, he's going to find Jaden Henderson again for the 6-yard touchdown. Bulldogs pull ahead 33-20. Here you go. This is the Grape Creek drive in the fourth quarter. That's Darrell West. But the kind of crazy, kind of fumbles it there, catches it, gets in for the touchdown. Eagles cut into the lead 33-27. Next Coahoma drive. There's Darrell West again, meeting Aiden Rodriguez with a bunch of other Eagle defenders. He strips the ball, and Eagles take over. Eagles have some life here, but Coahoma ball, they have a chance to really put it out of reach here. But Coahoma would not. They would miss this. They would miss this field goal, and it'd be 33-27. Eagles would have a chance at the end to try and score, but it would end up in a turnover on downs, and Coahoma ends up taking this one. First district game. Congratulations to the Coahoma Bulldogs. All right, yes, Grape Creek did fall in that one, but it was a great game. Grape Creek, of course, they jumped out to an early lead, and Coahoma fought back into it. Then it was anybody's game for the entire game. There at the end, I really thought they were going to march down the field and score, but didn't quite work out that way. Grape Creek, they can't let loose on anything. They have to tighten things up. There were a couple of penalties they need to clean up a little bit. And other than that, they played with Coahoma. And like I said, Coahoma has beaten some really, really good football teams in the state of Texas. So Great Creek can play with any of them. And that district, Wall's in that district. Wall's gotten off to a slow start the past couple weeks. And even last night they got off to a slow start. Excuse me. And Merkel, the guys up here at the Cover1 crew, we kind of thought Merkel would give them a little bit more trouble. They did in the first quarter and everything like that. But at the end, Wall just ended up taking over in that game. And actually, when I got back I left Eldorado halftime, I went out to Wall and spoke with Coach Slaughter, and we'll get into that interview right now. All right, we have head coach Craig Slaughter here. The Wall Hawks just beat Merkel 63 to 13. Coach, getting a district win start district, it's got to feel good.
No, awesome. And again, turn the ball over first play of the game. We still are. That's something. We still are having a few too many turnovers, but kids responded with whatever 60 unanswered there, and we may have one wrist issue, but we're pretty stinking healthy for this time of year. So I love how we're playing.
Now, when you win 63-13, there's not much you could really try to pick on, but slow start from the offense. Yeah. But you got things going. How do you fix that? How do you fix the mental mistakes?
Well, I don't know. That's what it is. And some of those it's just a mental thing that we're not quite. We're just I don't know. It's just mistakes that we have smart, talented kids that we have to cut out, and that's definitely something we're working on. Tonight I thought pregame and stuff I thought was awesome. And then the first play of the game, we have the turnover and we have two big third down conversions on defense that normally don't happen to us. Those are just mistakes we're working on getting rid of.
All right, and then second string got a lot of playing time. Held Merkel, made them punt, and then you had a big run there at the very end. And have your second string guys, third string guys doing that against a district opponent, it's got to feel good.
Hey, you love those kids getting to play. They work hard. They deserve as much playing time as you can get. And again, I'm proud of them. And I thought they did a great job when they were in there. So that's encouraging. We're proud of those guys, and I'm glad they got to get after it and do well.
All right, Coach. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
All right, Coach. You know what you got to do, man. We're always more critical of Wall up here because the expectation out at Wall is excellence, and we're not saying anything those kids haven't heard 1,000 times already, but they have to get started faster than that. They have to be able to, they can't have a turnover at the beginning of the game. When you get in the playoffs, you get in there deep. Teams are going to take advantage of that. So Wall, clean up, that first half of the game, get your offense started right away. Your defense has kept you in it, through that little rough stretch of the game. So your defense is playing very, very well. But, start cleaning those things up, start getting started faster, and you're going to be nearly unstoppable. Gunter is not who they were last year. Tidehaven, even though they're ranked number 1 in 3A ball, I've always feel like they've kind of been overrated. I know a lot of those, state ranks and everything don't really pay attention to anything east of I-35 or west of I-35. So you have a really good shot this year to go win it all. So get started quicker, and everything will just fall into place for y'all. That's what I think. And before we get into our Central Midland Lee highlights, we're going to hear a quick word from Angelo MRI.
Have you ever needed an MRI? Do you know someone that needs an MRI? And did you know that you have a choice? When your doctor orders an MRI, tell them that you choose Angelo MRI. The founders of Angelo MRI started Angelo MRI when they faced the high cost of MRIs from traditional medical facilities. That's why Angelo MRI offers a better way, a high-quality MRI for just $5.95. And Angelo MRI accepts all insurance, saving you time and money. It's your health, your money, and your choice. Angelo MRI, 4114 South Jackson in San Angelo, or look them up at angelomri.com. Remember, when your doctor orders an MRI, tell them that you choose Angelo MRI.
Okay, our man Chadwick, he was out last week. Our hearts go out to you. He had a big-time family matter. Hearts go out to him and his family. But he was back this week. He went to the Central Midland Lee game, and we're going to get into highlights. Well, let me make sure this is tuned down a little bit. Into highlights. Starting things off, Central, they're already down 7-0, just over 7 minutes, and on third down. Micah Smith takes a snap and finds Colton Hill over the middle for the Cats' first touchdown. They tie it up at 7-7. Here you go, Central. Now they're down 21-7. Smith's going to send people. Look around, take the snap here. Look. Throws it, And who else but Colton Hill in the end zone again, who comes down with it again. Central now trails 21-14 in the first quarter. Here, Rebels driving, 13 seconds on the clock. Lee's quarterback, J.P. Reyes, picks up the low snap but throws a pick to Jacob Jackson, snatches it out of the air. Central gets a big-time interception, keeps them in the game. 10:51 left before halftime. It's Bobcat football, down 21-14. Smith is going to keep this one, scamper into the end zone. Bobcats tie it up 21-21, playing very well. Coming up here in the second quarter, it's Rebel football. Reyes going to hit his receiver on a short pass, and he's going to juke out a Bobcat, sprint up field, get in the end zone. Midland Lee Rebels score. Score is now 28-21. About 6 minutes before the half, Bobcat ball. Micah Smith finds Jimmy Edwards for the touchdown. They tied up at 28. That wouldn't stay the way as it is, though, because at halftime, well into the second half here, J.P. Ray is going to find 88 for the touchdown. Now it's 48-35. Smith takes the snap and finds Gabriel Garcia for the quick score. They still trail, but it's a game 48-42. After a lead field goal, the score is 51-42. Fourth down, Bobcats turn it over on downs. Here you go. Midland Lee ices the game here. This is Hayes Ham getting across the goal line. Central drops this one despite a valiant effort. 58-42. Here's Coach Smith.
All right, Coach. Obviously not the result we wanted, but the boys played hard. Give us your overall thoughts.
Well, I don't. That ain't good enough for me. I don't like. It's about winning, and we got to put ourselves in a better position to win. We played well enough offensively to win the game. Didn't play well defensively. They had some elite speed out there that we were chasing many times during the night, but we just couldn't get off the field enough. Third down was a problem again defensively. Third and long. Allowing them to convert some of those and continue drives and get in the end zone. It was back and forth there a while, and then, we just couldn't quite put it all together. And we do. We got guys that fight, and they play hard, and they'll play all the way to the end. That's what the Bobcats do. We got to find a way to finish these games off.
Yeah, Coach, just sort of talk about your offense. Like you said, they played really well. They hung in there in the first half. And
yeah, we needed a little bit more from them. Sometimes in a game like this, we needed to score a few more points. Sometimes you have to win games 17-14. Sometimes we need to outscore them in a shootout right there. So offense needed to be better. On a night like tonight, we had to be pretty perfect offensively and just couldn't quite get it done.
And what strides do you want to see from your defense next week?
Well, just let's eliminate big plays again. That's kind of been a back and forth thing. We've had a couple of games where we have done that, and then we didn't get that done tonight. But we got to rally. We got to regroup. We got to look at some different things and some different personnel. We evaluate everything every week, from the people that we have out there, the matchups that we can create in order to put ourselves in a better position next week.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
All right, you heard it there from Coach Smith. Bobcats take a tough loss, hung with it, keep it close within one touchdown. So that's saying really good things about your program. Second-year head coach, young quarterback, first-year quarterback for him, and Midland Lee has a lot of playoff experience. They have a lot of extra experience, and they might not be the same team they were last year, but they've played a murderous row of a schedule so far, and they're going to be fine. Central, you draw this one, you just got to go watch film, learn from it, and move forward. You have another game coming next Friday, so it's time to get to work. And before we move on to Bangs at Ballinger and Iraan at Eldorado, we're going to hear a quick message from Kicking Cuts. Looking for a fresh cut without breaking the bank? Well, Kicking Cuts is now open at 4238 Sherwood Way. Haircuts start at $19 for kids and $22 for adults. They offer hot towels, beard detailings, multiple discounts, and they also sell hard-to-find hair care products. Kicking Cuts is locally owned, and they're ready to get you looking sharp at an affordable price. Kicking Cuts, located at 4238 Sherwood Way in San Angelo. All right, thank you very much, Kicking Cuts, for all of your support. Hey, we're 7 weeks in. Don't most people get a haircut every 7 weeks? Don't jeopardize your playing by keeping your hair long and getting into an argument with a teacher. Go get your hair cut there at Kicking Cuts, and they're going to take care of you. And back to the highlights, our man Paul Harris went to Ballinger last night for the Bangs Ballinger matchup. Getting into the highlights here, Bangs has already scored once. You send men in motion. Quarterback, you're going to pitch the ball to Kason Tidwell. Fumbles it, picks it back up through the middle of the line, in for a 60-yard touchdown. Bangs is up 15-0 with just under 4 minutes left in the first quarter. Here you go, Bangs ball again in the second quarter. Hunter Withers hands it off to Tidwell again, who breaks through. 23-yard touchdown. Dragons lead now 21-0. Bobcat ball, this is Kyson Burleson. Sprints out and hurls it to Hunter Cresta for a big-time play, big chunk play there. He goes down, but the Bearcats would fumble it on the next play. Here we are late in the second quarter. Bangs football. Withers takes the snap, rolls out and finds Jaden Robinson, who takes the ball all the way down to the down to the 1, and Tidwell would finish off the drive there. In the end, the Bangs Dragons shut out Ballinger 48-0. All right, now we're going to get into our last game of the night. I went to Eldorado. The Eagles played the Iraan Braves. Iraan, who's played pretty good football this year. They had a few years there where they were kind of trying to put it together, and they really have put it together this year. They're a very good team, and they're a young team. They have a freshman out there who I think leads them in sacks. Prather Schneeman, their quarterback, he was putting up numbers when he was a freshman a few years ago. I remember looking on their max preps and seeing, Schneeman's name all over the place. And let me pull up some highlights real quick. All right, and earlier, like I said, I went out to Eldorado, and they played an incredible game. They were down 20 points at one time and came back to win it. Let's get into the highlights right now. Iraan up first. They're going to hand it off to Daniel Reyes here. He gets in for an 11-yard touchdown. Braves up 8-0 early. First Eldorado possession here. They need to keep up with Iraan. Johnny Ray-Adame calls for a snap, but he throws an interception to Christian Butron. He ends up getting it back a little ways, but not a great start for the Eagles here. Next Braves drive. This is Prather Schneeman. He doesn't take the snap cleanly and just gets upfield, in for the score. Iraan leads 14-0. The 2-point was not good. 22 seconds left in the opening quarter here. Iraan threatening to go up 3 scores, and Schneeman throws it, but is picked off by Amari Luna from Eldorado. They take over into the second half. Here, 10:17 on the clock. Braves football again. Schneeman is going to launch it downfield for Butron. Catches, runs in for a touchdown. Iraan is up 20-7. Here, about 8 minutes half. Hugh Jefferson Eldorado, they've had enough of this. This is Brendan Gamez. Acts like he's going one way, cuts back the other, and gets upfield right past me, in for the touchdown. Eldorado gets that 0 off the board, but they're still down 20-7. About 8.5 minutes left here. Braves football, and that's Alex Reyes crossing the goal line. The 2-point was no good. It's 26-7. Here you go, 7:37 on the clock. Johnny Ray-Adame takes the snap. Almost gets picked off there, but Gamez comes up with it, or down with it, and he knows what to do. Gets into the end zone. He must like that side of the end zone. It's the second time he's been there. 26-14, right here. All right, about 4 minutes to go. Eagle ball. This is Kane Brock. Gets over the end zone. 20-point lead has dwindled down 26-21. The kickoff, Jet Brock forced a fumble, and Eldorado came up with it. They take over 250. This is Johnny Ray-Adame keeping it for himself. Gets in. Eldorado leads 27-26. Eldorado has fought tooth and nail to get back into this one. Here, under 30 seconds to go. Braves football. I'm going to hand it off to Aiden Mendoza. Slips the first tackle. Gets in for the touchdown. Iraan leads at the half, 38-27. But the Eagles and Braves would continue trading punches, and the Eagles would come away with the win. Congratulations to Eldorado. Great win. You made it hard on yourself by letting them score 20 points, but if this proves anything, it proves that y'all can play with absolutely anyone. It is fantastic to see a team pulled together like that, and it was awesome. It was so cool to be there, and we hadn't covered Eldorado yet, and I wanted to get out there. I thought this one was going Iraan's way. They've been playing really good football up this whole year, And like Coahoma and Grape Creek, we can't say Coahoma's a bad team because they've beaten really good teams. If Iraan's a good team, that means Eldorado is a fantastic team. To keep it together and to have a somewhat young team, they are just, that's awesome. I loved being there for it. I wish I could have stayed the second half to get all the other highlights, but man, it was awesome. Congratulations to the Eldorado Eagles. Be proud of yourselves. But hey, you got another game coming up next week against Sterling City. Don't take any weeks off. I know Sterling City might have issues right now, but because they're probably going to move back down to 6-man. Don't take them lightly. Go out there, put it on them. Then I think you got Wink in the way. Go put it on them. And we're going to get into some scores. But first, we're going to hear a word from the ArcLight. Catch all the collegiate and pro football action at the ArcLight Bar and Grill, located at 441 Rio Concho Drive, inside the Clarion Hotel in downtown San Angelo. All right, into scores now. Mason beat Thorndale 18-0. Hitchcock beat Hallettsville 34-7. Brady ran away with it against Dublin 62-13. Anna beat Frisco Emerson 56-14. Lake Travis beat Deval 56-14. Shiner beat Charlotte 54-0. Carthage beat Center for 60-14. La Mesa put it on Amarillo River Road 63-33. Sweetwater shut out San Angelo TLCA 69-0. Brownwood beat Lampasas 42-39. This is another one kind of like I was expecting Lampasas. They've been playing really good football. And Brownwood, new head coach, and they stuck it around in this one and won it. I'm going to shout out my buddy Hudson Fry. Got a 24-yard touchdown, keep it close at halftime. I'm really excited for the Brownwood Lions there. Salina beat Sulphur Springs 38-14. Odessa Permian beat Odessa 49-7. Friendship beat Midland 42-31. Garrison beat Shelbyville. That's a great game, 35-33. Duncanville beat DeSoto 48-28. Allen beat Princeton 62-14. Waco La Vega over Gatesville 24-7. Shallowater over Pecos 59-7. Abilene Cooper beat Abilene Cooper beat Lubbock Cooper 66-16. Lovelady beat Overton 44-29. Sealy beat Belleville 35-20. Robinson beat Lorena 46-29. Guthrie shut out Benjamin 54-0. Franklin beat Troy 68-27. De Leon 56. Heiko 27. Salado 23. Wimberley 9. Dimmitt beat Tulia 70-54. I'm dyslexic, I guess. Burnett over Marble Falls 35-14. Muleshoe over Lubbock Roosevelt 55-49. Rockport Fulton versus Cuero 57-56. Rockport Fulton. Ozona versus Reagan County. Wow, 94-16. Christian Villarreal, he had 196 yards in that game. He is over 2,000. He is going for the Sugarland Express single season rushing record. He's already halfway there. He's on pace to break it in the area round of the playoffs. That kid can absolutely play football. Richmond Randall over Texas City 25-7. Lubbock Monterey over Lubbock 56-34. Glen Rose over Godley 56-21. China Springs over Waco Conley 20-20. Palo Duro versus Abilene Wiley 42-35. Palo Duro. Gunter over Callisburg 43-6. Great game there, 37-33. Monahans over Snyder. Refugio over Santa Maria 64-7. Jacksboro over Wichita Falls City View 49-34. Ganado over Weimer 49-8. San Sabo over Johnson City 47-21. Stratford over Groover 40-27. New Deal over Post 34-20. Alvord over Tom Bean 49-42. Jim Ned's old coach, Matt Manning, is now the coach there at Alvord, so great win there. Sonora over Forsan 42-8. Sonora actually plays Ozona next. Is it Ozona next week? I believe so. Yep, that's going to be a great one. Ozona and Sonora, great game. It's going to be great. 42-8, Sonora. Roscoe over Cross Plains, 33-14. Wink over McCamey, 73-14. Lubbock Estacado over Levelland, 20-13. Lubbock Liberty over Perryton, 56-14. Eldorado over Iraan, 45-42. Plano over Prosper, 45-14. Early over Toller, 43-14. Seminole over Fort Stockton, 59-7. Hamilton over Coleman, 38-7. Vernon over Boyd, 44-14. Clyde over Breckenridge, 22-14. Stockdale over Dilley, 42-14. Newton over Woodville. Woodville was at the state game last year. Wow, 72-26. Wow, Woodville had a really good defense last year. Newton, great game there by Newton. Dalhart over Denver City, 54-22. Bushland over Andrews, 34-12. Wellington over Clarendon, 48-6. Spearman over Sunray, 28-6. Aledo versus Granbury, 61-0. Slayton over Littlefield, 49-33. West Plains over Canyon, 39-10. Holiday over Millsap, 52-3. Chilton over Hubbard, 70-0. Lexington over Thrall, 34-17. Munster over Lindsay, 49-28. Hawley over Anson, 39-28. Wow, Anson is playing really good ball this year, and Hawley always has a good team with Mitch Abels back there, but that kind of surprises me. Bangs over Ballinger, 48-0. Hamlin over Winters, 49-0. Brock over Eagle Mountain, 41-13. Cristobal over Colorado City, 15-6. New Home shut out Abernathy, 39-0. Goldthwaite shut out Frost, 42-0. Crane shut out Anthony, 54-0. Paradise beat Iowa Park, 43-7. Cisco beat Stanford, 30-20. Poth over Cotulla, 45-6. Childress over Freonia, 52-0. Panhandle over Sanford Fritch, 69-0. Jim Nett over Comanche, 56-3. Sterling City over Van Horn, 65-0. Big Spring over Kermit, 49-13. Ropes over Tahoka, 30-0. Llano over Luling, 53-0. Aspermont over Rule, 56-6. Clifton over Eastland, 28-6. Alton over Floydada, 56-0. Austin Westlake over Austin High, 58-14. Sheldon E.C. King versus Humble Summer Creek, 42-28. Liberty Christian Argyle, 41. Prestonwood Christian, 24. Great job there by Witten's team. Only over Abilene TLCA, 54-0. South Lake Carroll over Hazlitt Eaton, 66-7. Center Point had to forfeit that one. Junction wins. And a lot of these games might have been on Thursday, and I was just trying to get them in there. All right. Oh, sorry. Odessa Compass over Alpine, 52-3. Abilene over Lubbock Coronado, 35-6. Coahoma over Grape Creek, 33-27. San Angelo Central over Midland Lee over San Angelo Central, 58-42. Lakeview over Brownfield. Congratulations to the Pride in the North Side, 58-26. Wall beat Merkel 63-13, and that will do it for our scores. This has been week 7. We're going to keep bringing you all the action that we can. I want to thank our stringers and everybody for going out. Paul Harris and Ernesto Rodriguez, Ryan Chadwick, Tessa Koskovich. Thank you guys. Thanks, Joe, for putting up the reels for us. And until next week, I can't wait to see you again.